What is up, you guys? Trey here, and today we are going to be looking for tiny skulls in Walkabout Mini Golf. I've already done skeletons and I've done bananas, so I thought, well, there's a lot of tiny skulls, so we're going to go ahead and look for those as well. And these are pretty cool. I've seen a couple of them, so we're going to go ahead and look, and I actually am a skull, but I don't think I'm going to stay a skull for this video. I just wanted to kind of do it for the intro. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with it. Alrighty, you guys. The first course that we are coming to for the tiny skull is 8-bit lair. And we are going to spin around and head outside for this one. Deuce is going to be following along with us. Now, once you're outside in this very horrible rainstorm, you want to fly up to the top of the building. And when you get up here, you're going to see a helipad with a helicopter on top. And when you fly up to the very tip top of the helicopter, you'll see sitting in the little rotor here on the middle, you'll see this little guy. Try and get as close as I can to him so you guys can see him. Right there. You'll see that little guy sitting on top of the helicopter. Alrighty, you guys. And the next course that has a tiny skull is Venice. So we're going to fly up. It should be on the top of this tower right here. So we're going to fly up all the way up top to the top of this tower. The little knob-looking handle thing on the very top of it. And yes, as predicted, there is the tiny skull wearing a tiny hat. So yeah, there's your tiny skull on Venice. Alright, you guys, and the next course that we're going to find a tiny skull on is Around the World in 80 Days. And unlike the bananas, you don't have to fly all the way out there for this one, but you do have to fly up. So we're going to go ahead and fly up, and you're looking for the same balloon that has the skeleton chair on it, which is right here. So we're going to go up here to where the skeleton is riding on his chair right here. See him, there he is. But if you actually look up on the very top of the balloon, you'll see a very tiny, and I mean a very tiny skull. And it's kind of hard to get a good view of him because he's moving, but yes, this is the tiny skull. Alrighty, you guys, so the next course that has a tiny skull is Cherry Blossom. And much like the bananas on Around the World in 80 Days, this one is going to take a little bit of flying to get to it. So I am going to do another time lapse, but we're going to go ahead and you're on hole 1, and you're going to fly out here, and then you're going to hang a right. Now, if you see that mountain way back there with the white stuff on the top of it, the snow, you're heading to the very top of that mountain. So let's just go ahead and go. And like I said, I'm going to do a time lapse, and I will see you guys when we get up there. Alrighty, and once you guys get to the very top of the mountain, you're going to see this little gate thing on top of the mountain. And if you look on the very tip of it, right here, you'll see the tiny little skull in all of its glory after all of that flying. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. Alrighty, you guys, and the next course that we're going to find a tiny skull on is Crystal Lair. And this one is a little bit of a flight to get to it, but not bad. So we're not going to time lapse this. We're going to come out here, and you want to spin around, and you want to fly all the way up above this mountain. And then once you're up here, you want to fly back to this hill over here. And once you get to the top of this hill, it's at this little point right here. And you'll see the little tiny skull with the crystal in his mouth. There you go. There you go, yep. Alrighty, so the next location for a tiny skull is Forgotten Fairyland. And I went ahead and I did the hard course on this just because I do kind of like the day vibe and you can see it a bit better. But we're going to fly up here. You see the apex of the roller coaster back here. This one's a quick one. You're just going to fly up to this sign right here at the very tip top of the coaster. And you'll see sitting on the edge of the sign a robot head from Laser Lair. So yeah, this is a very quick one to get to, and I like it. And I actually think I found this one before doing this video, so yeah. Alrighty, you guys, so the next course that has a tiny skull that we're going to go check out is Holiday Hideaway. And for this one, you want to go back outside like you did when you found the skeleton over in this direction. Just to show you the skeleton, he is still over there. However, for the tiny skull, you want to go up to the tip top of this tree right here. So we're going to go ahead and just fly up there to the very tip top of this very tall tree. And I don't think I'm going to time lapse this. It's a little bit of a climb, but it is going pretty quick. So I think I'm just going to talk through this little journey that we have to take to get up to the top of the tree. But it is the tallest tree on the map. And a lot of these tiny skulls are hidden at the highest points on each map. Yep, and just a little talking through it, we're almost there. And then once you get up to the top of the map, this is one of the bigger skulls of the tiny skulls. But there he is. All the way up at the top of that tree. Alrighty, you guys, and the next course that there is a mini skull on is Ice Lair. So when you're at hole 1, you're going to turn back on yourself, and you want to fly up to this mountain right here. And I just reset myself on accident, so we're going to try that again. And for myself and dudes, when you start getting close up here, it does start getting a little bit laggy. Why? I don't know. But so far for me, it actually hasn't, which is a good thing. But once you get up to the very tip top of this snow hill, you'll come over to here and you will find a little snow skull, if you will. He's a little skull and he's dressed up as a snowman. Alrighty, you guys, so the next course that there is a tiny skull on is Mars Gardens. So we're going to go ahead and start heading towards that now. So once you're in the dome, you actually want to fly towards the center of the dome, which is about right here. And you want to fly up. Actually, here's the center. It's where this pole is. And you want to fly up and actually outside of the dome and sitting on the tip top of the dome is another tiny skull. Wait, where is he at? Oh, there he is. And he's got a little helmet on, too. Anyway, there he is. Alrighty, everybody. And the next course that has a tiny skeleton on it is Meow Wolf. And I think this is the first time that we've been here for any of these videos. So, let's go. Make sure I'm in fly mode. We're going to fly around here. And once you come out into this open area, you want to find, once again, the very tip top of it. So the easiest way to get to there is if you go up to here. And then you want to go into this area right here, I do believe. And when you come up over the top of it and out of it, you'll see on the very tip of the little tendril is your skull. Alright, you guys, the next course that has a tiny skull, or should I say skulls, is Mount Olympus. And you're going to fly up to the very top of hole 18. For those of you who just like to teleport, you can just teleport to hole 18 and then fly up. I'm flying just for the sake of the video. But you're just going to keep going if you're flying along with me until you get up to the very top of hole 18, way up here. And it's not on this level. They're not on this level, but they're on the very top. And they're scattered all around here. So there's a total of 12 skulls. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. This is crazy cool. Alrighty, you guys. The next location, or next course, I should say, with the tiny skull, is Tokyo. We're going to go ahead and fly up a little bit. And then once you're up here, you can kind of see the landscape of all the buildings and stuff. You want to turn to the left side of the course. And you're going to see this one in particular that has a second little rooftop thing on top of it. And we're going to fly over to this building specifically. And you want to fly up to the very tip top of it. And then once you're up here, you'll see there's a tiny little skull in a race car. I think this is one of the cooler tiny skulls, in my opinion. So yeah, tiny skull on a race car. Alrighty, you guys. The next course that has a mini skull is Raptor Cliffs. And for this one, you're actually going to fly into the course, and then you want to fly up through these trees. And then once you get above the trees, you're going to see this very tall mountain peak up this way. And you want to fly up to the very peak of the mountain. Now, it's not going to be this first one. Once you get up here, you're going to see that there's actually a second peak up behind this one. So this is the one that you want to head towards. Right here. And once you get up here, you'll see the tiny skull and a little chipmunk. Or whatever it is. It might be a little small dinosaur. I cannot tell. But either way, that is where the tiny skull is on Raptor Cliffs. Alrighty, guys. The next course that has a tiny skull is Tourist Trap. And this one is not very difficult to find. You're just going to go up to that observation tower all the way up at the very top of the Tourist Trap hill. And this one is kind of funny because when you get up here, he's just kind of floating here. He's not on anything. Oh, I got a little close. Let me back up just a tad. Like right there. Yeah, he's just kind of floating here, guys. But yeah, this is your tiny skull on Tourist Trap. Alright, you guys, and the final mini skull that can be found in Walkabout Mini Golf is on Wallace Wallace and Gromit. This one, you have to go to the moon part of the course. I'm not teleporting the hole, so the way you actually get to it without teleporting is you have to go under the ground, and if you keep going completely straight down, here's the moon. And then once you're down here, you want to locate this. And you want to go off behind this to this very tall peak right here on the very edge. And on the very tippy top of it, you'll see a tiny little gnome. And that is the tiny skulls in Walkabout Mini Golf and on Wallace and Gromit. Alright, you guys, the next tiny skull is on Viva Las Elvis, and it's a little bit up in the sky, so let's go. So in order to find this tiny skull, you are looking for the highest star in the sky, which is in this general direction. You can just keep flying up, and eventually you'll see which one is the highest. It'd be hard to kind of give you guys like directions on it, but it's to the left if you're looking from the first hole and you're looking across the car and you're looking at the car. It's kind of up into the left a little bit, but we are kind of going up to it now, and I believe it's actually this one right here. Yep, now we're going the right direction to it. You can see it's kind of tiny there on your screen for now, but I promise you, once we get up there to it, it is not going to be that tiny. And I think I'm going to leave this clip in because it doesn't take long to get up there, especially when you know the exact star that you're wanting to go to. I think it does make it a bit quicker. But yeah, you just want to, like I said, you want to find the highest star in the sky. And we're kind of getting close now, guys. Go up a little bit. Kind of starting to see that star form. And once you get up here to the star, you'll see on the very top of it a little tiny lion's head way up here. So yeah, this is technically the tiny skull on this map, but it's a lion's head. Alright, you guys, and that is all of the mini skulls in Walkabout Mini Golf. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and tap that bell so you're notified every time that I upload. And until next time, peace, you guys. Bye.